All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Barbara Coffey, Director of Economic Initiatives for the City of Tucson. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is our September webinar in our monthly series for small business, Connecting for Success. Today, we'll hear about loan programs and other financial and technical assistance programs from the leaders of those very programs. So you have it from the authorities today. We'll take your questions as we go, so feel free to enter those in the chat box or Q&A function, and we'll get to as many of them as possible in our time together today. We will keep all participants muted since we do have a large number of attendees. We do record the sessions, and we'll make this one available for everyone tomorrow. You can find links to all previous webinars at connecttucson.com. So now I see Mark Mckenna's face, so that's just in time. We will get started, and actually first we'll hear from Mark Mckenna, a native Tucsonan and U.S. Marine Corps veteran with more than 15 years in banking and lending. Mark served as a VP in retail banking management and small business lending with Wells Fargo and JP Morgan Chase Bank. Mark's current role with Prestamos is to develop strategies to originate loans supporting all microloan, private loan pool, and SBA loan programs. In the last 4 years, Mark has supported Prestamos' work with the City of North Las Vegas Fund, a Maricopa County Resilience Program, payroll protection programs, and the City of Phoenix Light Rail Fund. In addition to working with the City of Tucson's ARPA-funded small business loan program, Mark is currently working on projects with the Santa Cruz County ARPA-funded Forgivable Loan Program and with the Pasquayaqui Tribe State Small Business Credit Initiative Fund. So with all of that, I'm bringing you Mark Mckenna. So Mark, you'll have a few moments to share. And if you'd like to share your screen, please feel free to do that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Let's see. You can hear me, Barbara?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And thank you for this opportunity to talk a little bit about what we do and talking a little bit about the City of Tucson a program that we're going to be, helping with and facilitating over this next coming year. But I do have a slide here that I'd like to share. And let me just go ahead and share my screen here. And let me know if you can see my screen.
Not yet.
Not yet. Let's see. Okay, I got to share it. There we go.
There's that button. Absolutely.
How about now? We're
Perfect.
Good? Awesome.
Perfect.
So as you mentioned, Prestamos CDFI, we are a division of Chicanos por la Causa. And, so I just want to talk a little bit, and I'm going to go through this slide, and there's quite a few slides in here. We're probably, we're not going to talk too much, about all the slides here. But again, a little bit about what we do and just kind of give us a little bit of background and some history. But we are a nonprofit organization. We are a community development financial institution. We've been providing lending services in the community since 1980 under Chicanos por la Causa. In the 90s, we created Prestamos CDFI. But over the last couple of years, we actually participated under the PPP program and was recognized as the #1 CDFI lender under the PPP program through the Small Business Administration. So we were pretty excited about that. And dollar volume, I think we did a little over 7.6 billion in approved loans on a national level. But with that, I think what's more important, and kind of talking a little bit about the City of Tucson Fund that we'll be working closely with, is our average loan size was about 15,526, serving a total of about 78% in minority-owned businesses. And I think that's crucial and key to looking at this program going forward and really understanding that small business community and the need of that particular demographic. So we're really excited, to go forward. But just really, just kind of briefly go over, we have a women's business center. We're working with Maricopa County on a program as well. We do subprime technical assistance services as well, and some of our SBA microtech programs too, where we really focus on and have a lot of services that we provide in respect to some of the additional support beyond the loan or the lending piece of it. Really, one of the things too that I really wanted to kind of focus on briefly is under this new program, loan program, and this to, again, create an awareness around what we're going to be focusing in on this 5 C's of credit piece of it. One of the things that we're going to highlight is the collateral position of every applicant that we're looking at, credit history, and cash flow. The city of Tucson and Francisca and her team are working real closely now with a lot of businesses that are kind of pre-gathering a lot of this information for us. So we'll have it already in place, so we'll focus more, and going forward, we'll talk more in detail about these particular items as well, and how we associate that with the application and the underwriting process for the loans. The best practices as well, looking at financial documentation under the program, but also, again, focusing in on some of the things that we really are challenged with and kind of want to bring to the forefront, and some ideas around, having a good CPA, a bookkeeper, or making contact with a CPA to kind of put together and gather and create this package. So when we ask for this documentation piece, we're going to get a step ahead of this and have a lot of this on hand already. But some of the things, keeping an updated profit and loss statement, one of the things that are going to be really crucial and is an ask for all the applications that we'll be taking. And we'll talk a little bit more in detail about those things, but understanding the cash flow piece of it, and even, again, updating business plan and projections as well for some of these applications. And under that underwriting process, these are some of the things that we'll probably ask for in that process. Again, this slide briefly, and I'll share this also with you, and so that you can later disseminate amongst the group, and they can take a look at, some of these things. But the loan documentation, this is pretty thorough, and once we get to some of the loan products, I'll talk about the actual particular hierarchy of the loans that we're looking at under the City of Tucson program. But with this gives us an idea of what documentation we're going to be requesting. And the dollar amounts for these loans that we're looking at, one of the things that we did is kind of, we customized the ask and the process with this program. So we're not going to be needing a full 3 years worth of financials. As an example, from 5,000 up to 15,000, we'll only need 1 year of personal and business tax returns. So this is going to eliminate some of that other paperwork process. Francisca and I talked, briefly as well in regards to collateral position too, and eliminating that piece of it, under this program. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Here, real briefly, I just kind of wanted to share, some of the businesses and the diversity of people that we help. And, and this here just highlights Globe Midwifery is a nurse practitioner business. Ladogue Mobile Grooming Service, that's a local business here in town. Mesquite Landscaping. So this pretty much goes through the full gamut of some of the businesses that we help and assist with. So there's no niche business out there, that we don't want to, or that we, focus on. Our niche is the entire small business community. So we really want, we work really closely with new restaurant startups as well. We see a huge potential, especially here in Southern Arizona, even in the Tucson market. We see a lot of opportunity with some new business startup opportunities for businesses to kind of take advantage under this program too. Let me kind of, I always have a quote here: "You're far off better to have tried something and failed than to have tried nothing and succeeded." I like this quote only because, it highlights the perseverance and the tenacity of our small business community. They're just, again, really wanting to work with them real closely and finding opportunity. And under this program, so I'm gonna skip this slide here, but we're gonna focus on the microloan program. And under the City of Tucson program, we're going to be looking at applications from $1,000 up to $50,000 under this program. The way it's going to work is, we're going to have specific measurements under, from 0 to 15,000, we're going to have a specific request. 15 to 25,000, 25,000 up to 50,000. So we're gonna, we're working on a checklist right now. That way we can present that and have that available for all applicants. When they're looking at this process and kind of putting through an application, they're gonna get a checklist by email, and they're gonna know exactly, based off of the ask, exactly what to provide. But under this, typically, so we were looking at collateral positions on all of our loans. In this program, the collateral position is waived from 0 up to $15,000. And then from 15,000 up to 25,000, we will actually use, in circumstances where there's an equipment request, we'll be able to use that as a collateral position based off of the type of equipment. And then over 25,000, we're going to be looking at real estate position to collateralize any loan over 25,000. So kind of in a nutshell, that's kind of, what we're going to be looking at, in that particular product. And again, with the personal financials from 0 to 15,000, we're going to need 1 year of personal and 1 year of business. All of the applications, there's going to be a credit check on the application. So that's something that we'll pull and also take in regards to that. And just again, briefly, I just want to focus on the uses of funds. There's no really limitation to what the funds could be used for. In some cases, I mean, based off of the dollar amount. Now, one of the things that we will do is we'll look at potential opportunity if the request is more than 50,000. In fact, I'm working with a client right now where the request is more than 50,000. Up to 50,000, we could use and put within that City of Tucson program, and beyond that, we put in our own funding, to help offset, that additional request. So we can put in our own funding, so we can look at opportunities where it's more than the $50,000. But commercial buildings are there, equipment, working capital, inventory. One thing that we've been doing a lot lately is debt consolidation, refinance. So that's something else that, we'll consider under this program too. So under that, there's going to be a couple of options, with being able to go online and actually, apply for the application. The City of Tucson's website. So under www.prestamosloans.org, under our services tab, and we have a link for the City of Tucson application form. and they can go there directly to start submitting applications. Once the application is submitted, within 24 hours or within 48 hours, somebody will get back to you by phone and by email, and to start working on looking at the process and asking questions based around the project. But that's kind of what we're looking at there. Real quickly, this is just top growing businesses, industries in Arizona, things. Otherwise, really kind of, I know I went through this real quickly, but I think really focusing in on the opportunities and start really taking, and we have, I want to say probably close to about 25 applicants already that have put in applications that fall under the City of Tucson program. So slowly but surely, we're going to see those coming in, and us being able to work closely with the small businesses now, and starting to kind of focus in on the opportunity there, and where we can help out, and really, again, our objective in these programs is to deploy every last dollar. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're looking to do. And in any way, we can help out. And again, the City of Tucson is provided tons of support for that process as well, and have identified, tons of businesses already initially. So there's going to be a really, really, I think, strong showing and support for the program. So my request would be is to, be very proactive with getting, an application in, and once the application is in, just be as proactive as you can in providing that documentation. The quickest we can get it, the faster we can put through the application and get it through the system for underwriting and approval.
That's great. That's good news. And Mark, I appreciate that information, and really the information on the program that's fairly new. Again, ARPA funded with the City of Tucson and working with Prestamos. So there were a couple of questions from our audience. Can you speak more to why and how the credit check is used? And is it a hard check? How much is this weighed in the process?
It's definitely, this program is not a forgivable loan program, nor is it a grant. So it's an actual revolving loan program. So the City of Tucson has provided these funds, but these funds are to be recycled. And what I mean by that is, once a business owner pays back that loan, the city has that money again to reuse in other forms or in another loan program. Based off of that, our job in our position as the lender or the underwriter per se is to make sure that we ensure that those loans, are given, the best opportunity for repayment. A big part of that underwriting process is understanding the credit history of every applicant. That goes to that character component and gives us history on, the credit position of every applicant. So that goes to one of the strengths of the application, and what we look at when, with I kind of focus on, the credit, the cash flow, and the collateral component. So it is a big part of what we do, and that's how we utilize it and why we focus on the credit piece.
So there was another question.
Okay,
go ahead.
And just real quickly to add to that though, understand that there's a story behind each credit report as well. So we're not going to say that you have to have a minimum score, because one of the things that we understand over these last couple of years as business owners, especially small business owners, we've seen a huge drop in credit reporting. So as far as credit scoring, small business owners took a hit over those last couple of years based off of, maybe high credit usage, or they got into that scenario where they had to use credit cards, so it kind of extended, that high credit use and lowered their score per se. So, or got behind on payments. We see that a lot, so we understand those stories, but there's a narrative behind that, and there's some history there. And as long as we can understand and ensure, one of the biggest things that we look at is, maybe you might not have a 700, 650, score and it's lower, but, if we can kind of create a story behind why and understand that there aren't any collections, or any charge-offs, then it's still viable. We still want to find the opportunity there too.
So that addresses one of the questions about would people affected by COVID-19 be taken into account? And I think you mentioned it's a story, right? You're going to interpret the story from some of the documentation. So the question is also, what is the documentation needed for someone who is just starting out this year? And then also a follow-up on the loan. What is the maturity on the loan?
The documentation needed for startup businesses is going to be depending on the amount. So let's just say, as an example, up to 15,000. We'll look at 1 year personal tax returns. Then, as a new startup, we're going to want to see a business plan along with projections with that business plan. And again, looking at that piece, obviously there's no history, but there are going to be some businesses, where I've seen businesses that either started out the first part of the year, let's say maybe February, March, where we already have a running monthly total of some history, that we can utilize to help with, getting projections set up. Our team, the city of Tucson, they have a great team there, and they are going to be working diligently and helping assist with creating those projections as well with us. But those are the things that we'll need for a new business startup. One of the things with a new business startup as well is looking at the collateral piece. What is it exactly that they're requesting the funds for, and what type of collateral they have in that particular request, if it's over that 15,000. But initially, that's definitely, as a startup, the business plan and projections are going to be key to understanding that new business startup and see what kind of opportunity we have there.
And the maturity on the loan?
That's going to vary based off of the dollar amount. It's going to be anywhere from 12 months to 60 months.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Mark. We're going to keep moving.
Awesome.
As our panelists have a lot to offer. So I'm going to turn things over to Kenesha Raymond. And Mark, you can stop sharing. Perfect. Kenesha is the interim executive director of the Tucson Urban League and the director of programs and access to capital at Startup Tucson. For more than 13 years, Kenesha has provided education through her current company, Blissful Creatives. She is a graduate of Cornell University's Women's Entrepreneurship Program. Recently, Kenesha has spent a great deal of time working to disrupt the traditional funding and access to capital mechanisms that have created barriers for people of color. So without any other introduction, we've got Kenesha. Welcome.
Thank you, Barbara. Excuse my shady lighting. We're going to work on the lighting in this room, I promise you. But today it was not top priority. I'm going to go ahead and present and share my screen. So today I am speaking about the BIPOC Loan Fund. The BIPOC Loan Fund was brought to us by CIC. CIC is a nonprofit, and they really work on helping small businesses that are normally left behind. So out of CIC grew the BIPOC Loan Fund. And with that, the BIPOC Loan Fund was kind of brought together by their staff first and formally. They put some money together after the murder of George Floyd, and they decided that they wanted to do something in the community. They didn't know what that looked like, and they came together and decided they were going to do this loan fund. They brought together a group of us, which became a committee, to actually bring the BIPOC Loan Fund to existence. So a part of the BIPOC Loan Fund was that CIC wanted to do something, but they didn't feel that they wanted to be in charge of this. They wanted to put all of the decision making in the community's hands, and that's how our committee came together. A couple of things we do know about BIPOC entrepreneurs. So during the pandemic, the world was on fire. We all know that. And so everyone wanted to come together and see how they were going to keep businesses alive. What we do know is that the rate of BIPOC entrepreneurs that came out of the pandemic were much higher than everyday entrepreneurs. And also those are entrepreneurs that became necessity. It was a necessity for them to start a business. It wasn't something they woke up one day and was like, oh, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. It was a necessity because they lost their job. And this is how they were providing for their families. But what we also know is during that time, those are the people that got the lowest amount of PPP funding. Those are the people that when they applied for a loan, there was a credit check and then they were denied and then their credit's hit and then it's another 5 years before you can get a loan. So, but those are the people that also came out on the other side of this. And so through this funding, through the BIPOC Loan Fund, we wanted to shift the way that we were doing everyday lending. And so you have this group of people that came together that know nothing about lending. I think I'm the only one that kind of sits in this space all of the time, but know nothing about lending. And we put together a program that shifted the whole way lending is created. So our unique approach was one to put together this committee, which you will meet a little bit later. And we wanted to design a transparent process for entrepreneurs and business owners. We wanted to bridge that gap. We wanted to make sure that they had access to capital that they weren't going to get anywhere else. We wanted to make sure that we could provide education and resources for them to have in the beginning stages. So we're not asking you to come in and know everything. We're asking you to come in and give it a chance because we want to give you a chance. So through the BIPOC Loan Fund, we created this application, and the application is so fun because it is a couple different ways that you can submit your application. So it's not one of the traditional applications where we ask for all your business up front. This is character-based lending. This is what's missing in the whole lending arena. Character-based lending is where we get to know you, we get to know your story, and we get to know your business up front, and then we make decisions from there. So one of the biggest things that we did as a committee was put together this application. It took us 9 months, 9 long months, together in our homes via Zoom to put together an application that we felt proud of, that we wanted to put out into the community, that was transparent, and it was in a space that anyone could apply. So we're not asking for your social security number up front. We're not asking for any of that. That's all in the back end. What we want to know is who you are, what you do, and who you are bringing to your business, and how we can help transform the community. That's a big part. We're very community minded. We're community centric, both on the CIC side as well as the Startup Tucson side, and then all of our committee together because we all work in different areas. So as we were creating this application, we said, how can we make it different and approachable for everyone? First round, we use video ask. And on video ask, you can either submit a video, you can write it down, you can sing it, you can dance it, you can text it, however you want to create this application, you go through each step of the application. And not only do you go through each step of the application and do the application, but you're going through it with us because we are looking at you and asking you the questions. So now it's interactive. It's giving you kind of a space where you can take your time, take that question in, and then answer back, however you want to answer back. So in building this application, we wanted to make sure we were community focused and community minded. Now, the committee itself is made up of community members, but we are all BIPOC community members. We have all been affected by the space of funding, whether it's through credit funding, business funding, or trying to buy a home. So we wanted to make sure that we took everything that we got from the community as well as we have been a part of ourselves to make sure we're putting that and making this loan more streamlined and accessible for our community. We have created a revolving loan fund. It's a pay it back to pay it forward. And that's how we've always put it out in the community. That's how we put it out to our entrepreneurs that we fund. We ask for our entrepreneurs to be at least 50% BIPOC ownership. We do a loan from $500 to $10,000. These are micro loans. We're not changing the world, but we are changing right here in Tucson. And this little bit goes a long way, and we will change Southern Arizona. It is a 0% interest and no fees. There's no collateral required. Why is that? Because most BIPOC entrepreneurs coming from where we have come from and our lived experience do not have collateral. So we want to make sure that we're giving everyone an opportunity to have a leg in before we ask them for something. We ask for them to be for the loans to be between 1 and 5 years, and that's depending on the loan amount. But as we can tell you, and I'll go a little bit farther in, people are paying it back because the idea is to pay it back so we can pay it forward. So if we're paying it back, we're giving it out to the next entrepreneur. And the only way we can do that is if we all work together and lift up our businesses here in Arizona. So I want to take a moment and highlight our committee. I am a committee member myself. And these are all of our committee members. We have Ashley LaRussa. We have Isabel, who's on here today. We have Terrell and Camila and Jasmine and Lisa. We all come from different backgrounds, but I will tell you, for the 9 months we spent together, we became super close and super combative and all the things, trying to make sure that we put out something that we were super proud of, which took us a little longer than what we wanted to when we first started. So some updates about the loan fund. So we launched last year. We had our first round that went out, and we're super proud of it. Our first round, we had over 80 applications, 80 completed applications. We watched every single video. We took it on our own time, and we watched every single video, and we all connected with every single person that applied for this loan fund. Now, out of the 80, we selected 16, and those are 16 loans that were fully funded. We made sure that they were also offered education on the front end and in the back end through our partners at the YW and Startup Tucson and Black Friday. We made sure that they had everything they needed to be successful. We don't just give them the money and say, oh, here's some money, good luck. We give them money and we back that up with education. Education is so important from the front end to the back end. So we make sure that we back it up with education. Also, they have access to mentorship programs as well. So we did $100K in total funding that was available in that first round. We gave out $97,500, and we've already seen people pay back at $17,830. So that money's coming back in and it's being ready to lend. What we've heard time and time again through people who've asked us questions about this loan fund is, aren't you worried that you're not going to get that money back? They're $10,000 loans. It's okay if we lose a little. It's okay if people can't pay it back, because we're doing everything we can to help make them successful. We haven't seen that. Everyone who has taken a loan, even with CIC in the pandemic, that was not a part of the BIPOC Loan Fund. Maybe they've seen one drop off, but everybody who's taken a loan in this space, in this community, because they were not judged by their credit score and judged by what they were putting out in the community, they have paid back. They have made sure they're on time, and if they're not on time, they're picking up the phone to make a phone call. So now we are in round 2. We are now a revolving loan fund. We have more than 100K to give out, and we're super excited. We have about 333K, and so now that we're revolving, we're going to make sure that our applications are open year round. So you can apply any month you want to apply. We review applications at the end of the month. Our committee comes together, all of us again, and whatever applications are in the queue, we watch them all together. We make decisions. We have done that already so far, and we have approved 5 loans, and that's a total of 30K. So moving forward, we want to make sure that we never say no, and that was one of the things we said when we started this. We do not say no, we say no for now, and then we provide the education and everything they need so they can reapply. So as they're going through the process and they're filling out the application, they are able to not only reach out to CIC, but everyone on the committee to kind of help them through this process. And if they need help before they actually take the money, and a lot of them we'll give them marketing support, help them with their business plan so they'll know what they're going to do with the money. As well as anything that CIC can do on their end to make sure that they're ready to go. Now, once they're approved for the loan, that's when we start to ask for everything else. Do you have your profit and loss statement? Nope. Let's go through this class. This is where we educate them on what to do with this money and how to look at where the money has gone kind of over time. And so we want to thank our partners and sponsors kind of throughout this process. This would not be able to live and be successful in the community if we didn't have our partners and sponsors. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to CIC, or you can email me at Startup Tucson.
In addition to the update, all the information about the program and how it's different, how I think it's really helping change the lending environment. And even you heard in Mark's comments on their microloans, they too are relaxing some of their needed documentation and upfront items. So thanks for your work. You're definitely getting kudos from our audience today. So I appreciate that. And I also think, the city of Tucson, our but through our economic and workforce development grants, we have also now defined you as a partner and support you in the BIPOC Loan Fund. So you'll see us again engaging with you on that more frequently as well. Yes. And so, so definitely, if those of you that have questions still, please keep putting those in the Q&A function or the chat. You're welcome to, and also as our panelists are sharing, you're welcome to put links there. So if any of you have links to share that might help guide people to your resources, that would also be great. So we'll keep moving. Thanks so much, Kenesha. And now Isabel Georgelos. She's joined the YWCA of Southern Arizona in 2021 as the director of the Women's Business Center. The Women's Business Center of Southern Arizona is one of the largest in the U.S., serving an average of 1,000 clients annually, and was recognized as the Arizona Women's Business Center of 2020. A first-generation Mexican-American and a product of a single-parent household, Isabella learned the value of hard work. She was the first in her family to go to college and went on to build a career spanning more than 25 years in corporate leadership, working for the top retailers in the country. Isabel serves on the board of Sister Jose's Women's Shelter, the BIPOC Loan Fund, as you saw, through the Community Investment Corporation, and our Mother of Sorrows Catholic Church Board of Directors. So now I give you Isabel. You're welcome to share your screen if you like, and jump right in.
Hi, everyone. Well, first off, before I get going, I do have to acknowledge Francisca's here. She was the leader of the Women's Business Center in 2020. So kudos, Francisca. Again, we're very pleased to be here today to share just what's going on at the Women's Business Center. So a couple of things I will get my, let me see if I can get my screen up. Be just a second. Of course, it has to happen when you're like trying to get it going.
Right.
But while I do that, I can tell you, as Kenesha mentioned, it's been really great. I think one of the things that we've been doing here at the YWCA and Women's Business Center is just continue to partner with other organizations as we all work together to help our community. At the Women's Business Center, we obviously went through some changes, but it also allowed us to learn not only from the work that Francisca and her team did, but also obviously what our small business owners are asking for. So one of the things I can quickly share with you that aligns with what Kenesha shared is just the fact that there were a lot of entrepreneurs that started up during that time out of need. And we are continuing to serve those. And one of the things we did is quickly divide and conquer. We run 3 tracks at the Women's Business Center, one for those aspiring entrepreneurs who have a business idea or who found themselves using their side gig to make ends meet during the pandemic and realize, hey, I've got a potential business here. So how do I get started? How do I formalize it? And that's where we step in and can provide support. The other track that we provide is for startups. Again, those that found themselves dealing with different challenges during the pandemic and maybe identified some opportunities. One of the things that Kenesha shared was just how funding wasn't accessible to everyone. And so helping those small startups fine tune, maybe build some fundamentals, some foundation work that helps them continue to grow. And then last but not least, small business owners. As we know, we saw a lot of legacy businesses get impacted, small business owners who had a lot going on and needed to think about how do I address either decline or renew? What opportunities are we seeing? How do we tap into them? Or, what are some of the challenges I'm seeing and how do I start to address them? So that's what we're doing here at the Women's Business Center. One of the programs that I'm really excited to announce is our Build Academy. Build Academy is a 10-week, 20-course program that really helps you dive into your business from beginning to end. And the key there is identifying financial literacy and capability throughout every process. We always think about how do we really drive success? Well, it's building that financial capability. Let me see if I can get it up. I'm having a little difficulty with the screen here. Okay, it's not gonna help. Okay, we'll keep going. So to finish up, just some of the things that we do is really bring in not only support through mentors and coaching, which we provide here at the Women's Business Center, But we also bring in subject matter experts to engage with our business owners and help them discuss different topics. We found that has been very productive with our business owners. They get to tap into and ask them the questions. And so that really helps. The other piece that we're finding is, how do you provide ongoing support? So we've identified checkpoints at 3 months, at 6 months, at 9 months, and a year. So not only are we here just for you when you're going through the programs, but we're here to coach and support throughout the process, because a business is cyclical. It goes up, it goes down. So how do you respond? And that's where we get to the benefit of learning from small businesses. And then we basically take their questions and either create a guide, a class, or connect them to those subject matter experts that can help them. Any questions?
Awesome. Well, I would ask, is there a success story briefly that you could share? You know, someone that maybe you have assisted, a business or an entrepreneur that you've seen some great outcomes?
Absolutely. I can tell you of one business owner that came through our program. Actually, there's quite a few. And if I wasn't having difficulty, I'd be able to share the pictures. But one of the business owners that came through had this idea. They have a piercing shop, but they learned that there were certain certifications that could set them apart. So again, tapping into what can be your niche, right? How do you create something that's special? So what she did is made herself an expert and certified in that process. And now she's helping other artists, because not only is she a piercing artist, but she's also an artist. So she's helping others grow their business with her. And she went through our program. And is getting connected to resources as well, amongst, example being like the BIPOC, but also 2 other funding that's available that we're managing through the City of Tucson partnership and through ARPA funds, where we can connect small business owners who are going through our programs and learning and building the capabilities to then help them access those funds that will help them expand and grow. And so that's an example of one that we had. Another one, I'm sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, I love that. And I think what you pointed to is that, again, it's jumping in, taking advantage of the assistance, and then finding that there's additional help and financial help as well at the end of that road. And so again, many of our programs help lay that out. But I think it's so helpful to have your expertise and the hand-holding along the way.
It's really been a learning experience for us through the pandemic. We know we were helping a lot of people. Our previous team was helping so many people. What we've been able to continue to do is offer that support and assistance, but we've also increased our touch. So most of our participants average anywhere from 3 to 5 counseling sessions, coaching sessions, which is, again, we've been able to provide because of the resources that are available. Another piece, though, is to understand that as our business owners go through the program, they're also imparting that information and knowledge to others in the community. So they're building a network. A great example of this, another success story that I can share, is our at-home childcare providers. This past year, we connected with at-home childcare providers. They have an incredible network, but they were also kind of siloed. So how do we help them connect to resources that will help them continue to grow, and maybe start as maybe you can have 4 kids, or you can grow to 10 and eventually become a center. So there's different capabilities and resources that you need to get from 4 to 10 and to a center. So helping these ladies who started as, your aunt or your mom or your grandmother, helping during a time of need, actually start their own business. And so helping them connect to resources and get certifications and support is also important for our community, because then others can go to work because they have quality childcare they can count on. So that's another success story that I'm happy to share.
That's great. And there is a question for you. What's the date of the next academy? And a second part to that, knowing that some of your work is focused largely on women, How are male entrepreneurs also included, or share about that? It's a great question.
Great question. Yes, we are focused on women, but we support anyone who comes in to our environment that's looking for assistance, capability, and resources. So we average about 87% women, but we do have gentlemen that participate in our programs. In fact, I think in our next Build Academy, which starts September 7th, we do have, I want to say, 2 gentlemen that have qualified and are going through the program.
Excellent.
In regards to Build Academy, there is an interview process because to really do it well, we have 15 slots per cohort in English and in Spanish, which is something else that's really important to stress, is that we provide all our training in English, all in English, and all in Spanish.
That's
we have
great.
a bilingual community, but we want to be mindful that, people want to feel comfortable and don't want to lose something in the translation, right? So we make sure that we provide them separately. And that's why we're very careful on keeping the groups small.
That's great. Well, thank you very much, Isabel. And those were great questions coming. And so that we can round out our time together, I'll keep us rolling. I want to introduce a very special part of our team and who has brought some programs in-house to the city of Tucson, Francisca Villegas. She was born in Hermosillo, Sonora, Mexico. She joined the city of Tucson Office of Economic Initiatives in January as a program manager. She's a longtime Tucson resident with a bachelor's degree from the U of A. She's a registered mortgage loan originator and lender and has an extensive background in microlending. Francisca is also a certified business coach and has been working extensively with small businesses, specifically supporting underrepresented and minority groups and legacy businesses. Most recently, she coordinated our first cohort of training in our first food-based business accelerator, Sazón Empresarial, and that graduated 14 business owners just 2 weeks ago. So Francisca, welcome, and thanks for being a part of our team and connecting all of our resources and businesses. I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you. And thanks to all of our resource partners. We're very excited. I'm very grateful that you partnered with us to continue the work to help small businesses. And Isabel, it's so great to see you. I hear nothing but great things about the program. So I know that the baby is in good hands. So I appreciate that. Shout out to the my work in 2020. With that being said, my team and I lead the Business Navigator team, and I'm the Small Business Program Manager. And basically, our role is to support the community, but also work with our resource partners. So with the microloan program, we've been able to sit down with the business owners and help them with the application. Mark had a really good point stating that the funds are limited. So we need to make sure we're submitting a complete application. So we do have a phone number and also the website that you can go, and I'll share it right now. It's connecttucson.com/loans. And you can schedule an appointment to meet with us. My background is in micro lending, so I know how to package loans and I know how to reach out to Mark so that we can get it done. But it's very important to schedule the appointment, show up with a complete loan package. And also, if those of you that are interested or want to learn more about the BIPOC loans, we can help everyone. You don't have to be a resource partner, but if you're interested in pursuing an SBA loan or different loan, we're happy to help as well. I'm also, and this question is going to be for Isabel. If you can just touch a little bit about the grants, how can small businesses reach out to you guys so they can access those grants? We can also help them complete the application if that's something that's ready to be available.
Yes, actually, we're revamping our website, so that's why it's not listed on the website. Okay. But they are welcome to reach out to, and I'll put the emails in the chat to myself, Gabby, or Stephanie. Stephanie is leading the process. We do ask, obviously, because it's connected to building capability. It's not enough to provide funding. It's also like, we want them to take advantage of the programming and support that we provide through the mentorship, so that you can actually make that, ensure that how you identify you're going to use that money can help you really expand and grow your business. So we do an assessment, we sit down with them, we can provide an action plan for them, connect them to the right resources so that it really makes that funding impactful. So there is a process, and I will share those with you. I will also forward, we'll be able to forward a link soon. We have a manual application, but we'll be able to forward a link soon to the City of Tucson and to you, Francisca, so that you can share it.
Awesome.
And they
Thank
can
you.
forward that to us. But I'll get you the context right now.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I'm asking because I feel like the goal of the programs and all these ARPA funds that, went to our resource partners and the training that the business navigators are offering, we're basically trying to expand, help the small businesses expand and grow their business. And sometimes we can all work together. Mark and I were discussing some of the loans will require down payment assistance, right? They want to see that capital injection, the initial investment from the business owner. So the way that it could work, they come to us, we help them prepare the package, maybe, write a simple, I'm not going to commit to 150 pages business plan, but we can do a simple business plan, and they might go through your training, get a loan with CPLC. And then you're seeing, those businesses really getting all the capital they need. So we basically are filling the gaps, and we want to make sure they're ready. They have a complete package. Funds are limited. And also, the trainings, I understand the next one is going to start the 7th. So we need to make sure the community are aware of those opportunities so they can expand and grow. And, we're basically helping them get ready for you guys so that, they're getting all the help they can get. We are also running trainings. It's on our website. We're running digital academies. We're running financial literacy courses. But this is basically to help them prepare for the loans or maybe for the grants, because I understand there will be requirements. So we want to make sure they're getting all the paperwork in advance. If they file an extension, talk to your CPA. If they didn't file taxes, we saw a lot of, businesses, they didn't file, they didn't basically did the things that they normally do. So the sales decline. So we want to make sure we're helping them and we're guiding them through the process. So please, I see the link on our website. Feel free to reach out to us. We also have a phone number, and I'm gonna just type it in the website. Barbara, maybe you can.
That would be good.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And when you do that, Francisca, give the number that is our small business assistance line, and then also maybe a link to some of the upcoming courses that you mentioned. And I love to point out, you come to us today. Francisca is located at La Suprema, which is a great place for some business one-on-one counseling. If you decide that you want to sit down with one of our business navigators and the team and talk through some of these options and programs that might be a fit for you, you have a great place to do that. There's no fee for parking there. There's plenty of space and nice private office for you to go in and out, a little bit more convenient than coming to City Hall. So that is available to our businesses as well. Any final thoughts? Yes.
I would just add, one of the things that we really, and absolutely, Francisca, you guys can count on us to continue to partner together. I think the biggest goal that we have is, and you mentioned it, it's about financial literacy, financial capability. And they're two different things. Obviously learning, number one, financial literacy, learning how to navigate, right? Our systems, our banking systems, et cetera. Then there's also building capability, learning how to use your funds, learning the value of, say, having a loan. A grant is wonderful and it can help a business. It can make a difference for a business. It's a lifeline, but it's also learning that loans and creating, being able to eventually become eligible for a loan is very impactful for a small business to eventually grow and scale. So it's about how do you leverage all these resources that are available in our community to help our business owners grow, right? Learn to use the funding and truly grow and expand to where, because eventually this will go away. So how do we use it now? And that's where I think we can work together.
Fantastic. Well, we are at time. We're actually almost over, and we apologize for a slightly late start, but we had a great discussion. There's so many resources. I'm so pleased that we can bring this to our business community. So I just want to keep us connecting for success. So with that, thanks to all our panelists today, and we'll certainly be back again with more good information and speakers to help you. Our next webinar will be Monday, September 26th at 3 p.m. So we're back on a Monday. Be sure to watch your inbox for the announcement and registration link, and we'll keep you connecting for success. And in the meantime, you have the business assistance line at 520-837-4100 and connecttucson.com for those resources and to sign up for email newsletters and updates. With that, have a great afternoon, everyone. Thank you all.